Alright, how is everybody doing today? Welcome back to the channel. So in this video, we have more news on the Airbnb IPO. So it's literally going to be IPOing in just a few days now on the 10th. I'm going to be talking about everything with Airbnb. Am I going to buy it myself when it IPOs this week, or am I going to wait? Now, I usually don't buy IPOs when they come out, almost never, because it's usually overvalued at that point. But we're going to be talking about that in this video, if I'm going to be doing it this time or not. Right before we jump into it, if you haven't already, make sure to sign up for Webull. I'll have a link down below. If you guys sign up, deposit $100 and basically open up a brokerage. It literally takes just a few minutes. You'll get 4 free stocks that can be worth up to $1,600. So if you haven't done that, make sure to sign up to Webull down in the description, and make sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I'm trying to hit 600 subscribers by the end of this year. So if any of you guys can help me reach that goal, that'll mean a lot and it'll be very appreciated. So this has been an update to Airbnb that they're now valued up to $42 billion at the time of IPO, up to that price at least, and it's expected to be anywhere from $56 to $60 per share of Airbnb stock. Now, they gave a price up to 42 billion and it's fully diluted, right? This is the thing about Airbnb. If you guys didn't see my last video about it, I talked about their competition, which is basically just VRBO, and of course the mainstream hotel industry and stuff like that is probably their other kind of competition out there. Like if you want a place to stay, you're either going to a hotel, you're renting a house, or you're going with Airbnb. Now, this is I'm going to be talking about some pretty interesting stuff I found. So basically, if we look at their revenues, last year they did just $4.8 billion. So if they're valuing themselves $4.2 billion, you're paying 10 times the sales they're making today. I mean, not even today, last year. And this year, I think the last numbers I saw is that they've been making less than last year. So you're probably paying even more, probably like 12x the valuation or the sales of Airbnb, which is pretty expensive, man. That's pretty expensive. But their growth is definitely there. They went from 3 to 4 in 1 year, 2 to 4 in 2 years. They've doubled it every 2 years. So that's definitely a plus for them for sure. So they're debuting on the NASDAQ, right, on December 10. It will be one of the largest IPOs of 2020, which is definitely, I agree with that. At 42 billion, geez, that's pretty big. Now, am I going to be buying it myself? Let's take a look. I'm personally, I'm going to tell you right now, probably not. I'm probably not going to buy it, but let's take a look at exactly why. Basically, the millions of nights booked in 2019, Airbnb actually was not that bad. They're just under Marriott hotels in terms of their amount of people that stay with Airbnb. But obviously, Marriott probably makes a bit more on every person that stays. I mean, you just want to think about it, that Marriott hotels, they're going to sell you food, they're going to sell you stuff like that. Airbnb only takes a flat fee from having someone stay in your property, right? So they're only like the middleman, if that makes sense. VRBO is very interesting now. They made up 108 of that. I believe that's the million. So 108 million nights stayed at VRBO. So they're about a third of Airbnb. But in my opinion, I think this is going to get a bit closer than that. Airbnb definitely has more market share. If we're talking about just the space, they have about a third of what Airbnb does. And that is pretty good. I think that's probably going to grow a bit more. And I think their competition is going to be steadily increasing, because I believe it's a lot easier to list your house on VRBO than it is Airbnb. But as Airbnb is more like business oriented, like if you have 3 properties, you're gonna go with Airbnb. But if you're gonna rent your own house, I think most people do go with VRBO, at least recently, and VRBO has been on the come up. So that's the only pretty dangerous thing I have. But both of them could definitely coexist, just like a Uber and Lyft both coexist. I do think that both of them could coexist as well. Now, they estimate that their service addressable market is 1.5 trillion. I mean, yeah, they have, obviously we know Airbnb could grow huge. I mean, look, booking.com has freaking 800 million. They could triple and it'll be the biggest, right? So let's look at exactly how basically COVID impacted them, right? So within 2020, they only had, if they have the numbers here, their year to year has been pretty bad. Like it's been down pretty substantially. But if you look at the gross daily rate, it's only 18% difference in terms of like how many people are actually staying with them than stayed with them last year. And the gross nights booked, is about 23, I believe that's million. That has to be million, I believe. I don't think that's billion, because we know that they only made 320. So it's a lot, actually. Oh no, it's definitely billion. It's definitely billion. So they've had about a bit better than what I actually expected, but it's still pretty low. Okay, in million actually, it's 23 million. Oh, it's that low then. Okay, so they're about, from, let's say they made 28 million, they're gonna make about 24 million. So they're pretty low compared to where they were last year. Now profitability, oh, they are not profitable at all. They've lost 20% revenues in Q3, 5%, 10%. That's another thing I don't really like, that they're not making a profit. That's not a good sign at all. Especially, I mean, yeah, they're growing like crazy, but for a company like Airbnb, man, I don't know. Are they spending that much on marketing and stuff like that? That's the only thing I can think of. Like Uber, for example, has to pay their workers. They might do stuff like that. But unless Airbnb, I think what they're doing is they're trying to go for obtaining more and more customers. Like they're trying to get their market share higher and higher and higher, right? So I think that's why they're doing it. So it's not necessarily a super bad thing if they're looking strictly about growth. But I do think it's going to take a couple years at least for Airbnb to actually become profitable, if that's what you're looking for specifically. But yeah, man, I'm not going to buy Airbnb IPO when it comes out for sure. I'm for sure waiting. Most IPOs, man, it goes through people like all those people that buy it before it IPOs, those big investors, they're going to purchase the stock up before it IPOs, because most likely they know that during IPO it's going to go up even more. Like those retail investors, even some of Wall Street goes into it as well. So I'm personally going to wait. I'm going to be looking at it when it IPOs. If the company does improve over next year or so, and in 2021, if they have a strong 2021, most likely their stock price, I don't even know. Like, it's very hard to actually predict what the stock price will be. But in a year from now, it's very likely that the stock might remain at the 50 range, 40 range. It's very likely, because unless people buy up this IPO like crazy, like most other stocks in the stock market, if it's normal times, I wouldn't be surprised if the stock falls below IPO price. But you just never know, man. It's already so overvalued that this stock could go to $100 and it would just be like a Shopify stock, man. Like, it'll just be crazy overvalued. So I'm personally not too crazy about Airbnb, but let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll be definitely taking a look at Airbnb's IPO when it does release. I believe just on Thursday, just in a few days from now. So hopefully you enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you on my next video.